Jay's Custom Creations is sponsored by Bits and Bits. Use the code JBates to save 10% off your next router bit or CNC bit purchase at bitsbits.com.
All right, story time. I've had so much on my mind, so much distraction over the past 9 months that I've been wanting to share with you so bad. And it hasn't been until now that I felt like it was a good time to open up and talk about this. Give a little bit of a mind dump, a little bit of a story time, and let you guys know what I've got going on in my life, because it directly affects my business. And all of this is positive, by the way. This is not a negative Nancy video. This is just a positive opportunity, coin flip, whether or not it will or whether it will or will not happen. So TLDR version, too long, didn't read. We're trying to move to 50 to 100 acres, a lot of land. So that's the TLDR version. If you'd like to stick around for story time, well, that begins now. Why are we trying to move? Let me kind of paint the picture about life as it is right now. And I hope you don't take this as me being boastful, but rather kind of proud of the situation that we're in. I'm not rich by any means, at all. Not rich at all. I learned at a very young age that when it comes to money, I was a backseat Dave Ramsey sponge, I guess you could say. When it comes to money, yes, you want to further your career, advance yourself, and make more money, but I've never had the desire to put forth the effort to drastically pursue wealth, right? And maybe that has something to do with just observing my surroundings. No matter how much you make, right, your income and your expenditures. It seems like if you're like the majority of people on earth, when your income goes up, your expenditures go with it, right? Your lifestyle doesn't change much. It just keeps going together. It just means you have more stuff. And I learned at a young age that it's not necessarily how much you make. It's not necessarily how much you spend. It's the distance in between those two. I know the camera's here, but I'm looking at my face here, right? So it's the distance in between the two. The greater the distance between your income and your expenditures, that's a direct correlation into the greatest amount of freedom you have. You know, the society we live in revolves around money, obviously. So that distance is the greatest equivalent of freedom. Holy smokes, brain fart. So that being said, I've never really focused on having a tremendous amount of wealth. I've really focused on reducing costs and debt throughout the years. So I'm 37 years old. I've got a lot of life left in me, a lot of adventure left in me, but we've made some really good decisions so that we are some very conservative decisions as far as money goes, very low risk decisions. I guess that's the best way to say it, to where we are in a position now where we are 100% debt free. We have a decent income coming in, and life is comfortable. That's the way it is. That's just, life is comfortable right now. A lot of decisions have led us to the fact that life is comfortable. And hopefully you don't take that as me being boastful. It's just, I'm proud of it, and that's where we're at right now. But when with comfort comes a little bit of complacency, with comfort comes a little bit of, I don't like to use the word boredom because I'm not bored here. That's not the right way to say it. Lack of adventure. The adventure here at this property has stopped, and we've realized that over the past couple of years. So about 9 months ago, we started pursuing moving. The adventure has stopped here. We have a decent home, a wonderful shop, wonderful outside space, but the adventure, simply put, has stopped here. If we stay here forever, that's fine too. So the opposite side of this coin flip is nothing happens and we stay here and we continue on as normal. That's fine too. We'll find another adventure, but right now this is the adventure that we want to try and manifest. So that's the first reason we're trying to move. The adventure has stopped at this property. The second reason we want to try and move is because of family. We are Now, don't get me wrong, we're a nomadic family. We go all over the place with our camper. And maybe, you know what, maybe that has something to do with the fact that the adventure stopped here, so we're trying to seek an adventure. There you go. Last year, we had a 15-month span where we had 16 camping adventures. So much fun. So much fun. So we're kind of nomadic. We're an hour and a half away from our nearest family. And while an hour and a half isn't that big of a deal, being closer to family would be better. The older I get, the more I value family time, the more I realize that in my late teens, before my grandfather passed away, we had a huge core group of family on my mom's side of the family that we were all right there together having so much fun. And in the present time, as that was happening, you don't realize how much fun and how amazing it is being that close to family who all gets along and is having a great time, and we're all helping each other out. And you know, like on nights, instead of going hanging out with friends, we're all hanging out together, and it was so much fun. My grandfather was the family nucleus that kind of held everything together. When he passed away, everybody just kind of drifted away, and it's not until we all drifted away that I really realized how powerful that is, being close to family. That's one of the reasons why I'm really focusing on family time over the past several years since our daughter's been born, and not really super pursuing growing my business. Family is what makes everything worthwhile. So being closer to family, the obvious second reason why. And the third reason why is a lifestyle, right? My wife grew up on essentially a cattle ranch, essentially, right? So they all had jobs, but day jobs, working for wherever. But at home, there's a couple 100 acres-ish that the bunch of cattle and working out in the field, cutting hay, doing the cattle thing. That's the lifestyle my wife grew up in. And that's the lifestyle my wife kind of had when I met her. She used to have several horses, and just the laid back freedom of rural America. And she wants to get back to that. And so do I. I never had that much land, never really got to experience that much land, but I love camping, love exploring, and I want to do more. So yeah, we both want that. We both want to have a lot more land. So lifestyle. You know, I'm the exact opposite of that in my youth, right? I grew up in Michigan. I grew up in Southeast Michigan, in Livonia, Michigan, 20 minutes away from downtown Detroit. I grew up as a city boy. And again, being in that present moment, you don't understand how life is because, well, quite frankly, that's just life. And as a kid, I loved my youth growing up there. But as an adult, going back to that big city, 2 weeks ago, again, we're a nomadic family. I was like, let's just go to Michigan for the weekend. So we got on my wife's little gas sipper and we drove to Michigan for the weekend. Really low budget excuse to visit family. And while we were there, we actually got to go to Ford Field for the watch party for the last Detroit Lions football game, which started out great and was a big disappointment. Topic for another day. But while I was there, those 2 days, 3 days-ish, in Michigan, in Southeast Michigan, in the city, further solidified my absolute hate for the city lifestyle. I am not a city boy anymore. I do not like the city lifestyle. Exact opposite of that. Me and my dad are on total ends of the spectrum. He grew up there. He has lived his entire life there and absolutely loves it. And I respect that. Not me. I hate it. I hate the city life. I hate the hustle and bustle. I hate the crazy traffic. I hate the insane amount of construction that's in Southeast Michigan for the roads because the roads suck. I hate the roads that they suck. I don't like city life at all. Moving to 50 to 100 acres just sounds so much fun. It just sounds like freedom, absolute freedom. A lot of hard work, yes, don't get me wrong, but we're a doer type family. Freedom. I want that lifestyle. So that's the why. Here comes the how. And this is where we throw a wrench in the whole thing. I think I mentioned finances. I'm a low risk person, completely debt free, and I refuse to go into debt again. So I'm not getting another mortgage. So how do we do this without going into debt? Well, you have to transfer equity, basically. We would have to sell our property and line up a purchase almost immediately. So that means on both sides of that coin, there's going to be has to be done with contingent offers with contingencies. I'll buy this. Let's negotiate a price. We agree on a price. Will you agree to a contingent offer of I will buy this at X amount of days if my house sells by X amount of days, yada, 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 to lock it in. So that's how this has to work, and that's one of the reasons why this is taking so long. But some of the ducks are starting to get into a row. Some of the stars are starting to align to a point where I feel actually comfortable talking about this, because I really don't want to bring this up if it doesn't happen. And as of right now, it's still a coin flip whether or not it will happen. So here's the plan. Here's the chaos of how it will happen, and this is what directly affects, I guess, in a sense, you guys, because I'm making content, and it directly affects my business production-wise. We will sell and then buy. So for the house, that's easy. We sell as much of our belongings as possible, minus like clothing and stuff like that, to live out of our camper. We love camping, living out of our camper, extended period of time, absolutely, without question, no problem whatsoever. The biggest hurdle is this shop. What do I do with this shop? And it is so painful to say that what will be a necessity is to put the shop in storage temporarily. And that, oh man, that sucks. That gives me that sinking kind of feeling in my throat. The shop will have to go into storage as little amount of time as possible, and I'll keep stuff like this, the contractor type tools out, basically what I can fit in my truck, to still build things and make content and to be creative and create videos, so that priority number one will be to build a new shop. Priority number two would be to build a house. Priority number three, a barn. So there's an opportunity there for a tremendous amount of content, of a fun adventure, and there's absolutely no way. I didn't want this to turn into like I'm quitting YouTube or anything like that. The exact opposite of that. This would open up so many doors to continue to create content and document my journey through all this stuff, document this adventure. It's one of the awesome things about uploading a bunch of videos to YouTube is, all of us, I'm sure everyone out there likes to look at pictures of yourself as a kid or your family as a kid, right? Pictures of your youth, and it just takes you back and you can remember that. Well, one of the most powerful things about making videos and putting them out there online is I've got a library of stuff I can look back on and see how life was 10 years ago. And that's awesome. And I want to continue that as long as I can into the future, so that I can continuously look back on my own life and see things and see how, because it's not just a video that I'm remembering when I see an older video, it's how life was at that time, right? A different shop setting. Oh yeah, and lived in a different place. It's very powerful documenting things and being able to look back on them, especially for my daughter. She'll be able to have a lot of stuff, a lot of content that she can look back on for the beginning of her life, as well as a glimpse back into my life when I'm old and gone or whatever. So yeah, it's going to open up so many doors as far as continuing to create content and all that. So a little bit more on the specifics. Priority number one is to build a shop. This is a 30 by 40 shop. I think it is the absolute perfect shop size, but we want to double that, 40 by 60, because the new shop would have to do double duty. At first, priority number one is to put this shop back together just the way it is on the 30 by 40 side of the new shop, and build on the other side a bathroom and a small little kitchenette, so that way we can park the camper in it and live as comfortable as possible in the camper while all of this develops. And then we would use the 40 by 60 shop shell as kind of like a guinea pig to duplicate that somewhere else on the property for the house. 40 by 60 barn dominium style-ish shell that my wife and I, we can finish out the inside at our convenience. So that's that's priority number one. Priority number two, after that, of course, build a barn. I would like to contract out the shell of the shop, contract out the shell of the house. First, for two reasons. Number one, just to get back to normalcy as soon as possible. But also number two, to have a first-hand experience of watching somebody else do it and learning, so that way I can tackle the barn myself or with the help of some other people, but not contract out the barn and any other little things here and there. Just so many possibilities. Once the house is built, of course, the other half of the shop becomes, get the camper out of there, and that becomes used for equipment, tractor, whatever. And then we start building this new adventure, our own little hobby cattle ranch, not anything for profit or anything like that. Maybe a little bit of side money, but definitely not pursuing it as a primary source of income. Gives it a little bit of food stability. You're raising your own food. And chickens. Here's something funny. Like I said, we've been on this kick for the past 9 months or so behind the scenes, spending so much time looking at stuff and researching and yada yada yada, and bringing our daughter along and walking different properties and all this stuff. And our daughter is set on getting chickens. She wants chickens. The chickens are going to be hers. She wants those chickens. And I showed her several self-serve egg stands, that people put up at the end of their property where they have some chickens, and then, you come, you pay on your own time, and, you buy your own eggs. She wants to do that, but she says that her chickens need to be on the opposite side of the property. So every morning she could get on her horse and ride her horse to go get those chickens. I think that's funny. I think that's great. So she wants this to happen. It may happen, it may not happen. We can all dream, never stop dreaming. And live the adventure. The adventure has stopped here. We want to continue this adventure. So I guess that's my mind dump. Thank you for tagging along for story time. That's where I have spent a lot of my free time over the past 9 months. Yes, I'm still making stuff. You see that? I got some panels glued up. This video should have been out this weekend, but time, life is great. Hopefully your life is great. Let me know in the comments. Give me some comments, right? Give me some feedback. You think this is a good idea? You think I'm stupid? You think I should just settle on the comfortable life? Words of encouragement. Tell me I look goofy. Whatever. I don't care. Just leave me a comment. I love to read them. I always read all these comments. Whether or not I reply or give it a heart or a thumbs up or whatever, I read all my comments on YouTube still, and I appreciate all of your feedback. So thank you for sticking around for story time. I've got to go cook a late lunch for the family, and I'll talk to you later. See ya.